All right, so let's go on to lesson 7 for 52 short stories. What I want to talk about actually is not the usual necessarily short story that we're going to talk about. So this one's actually a little bit longer, but I guess you can still say a short story. It just kind of depends on where you start from. So what we want to talk about is a character who wants to get an object that will change their life, whether it's a diploma, immigration papers, a magic ring, a championship, wealth, knowledge, loved one, lose weight, justice, anything that would make the person feel more successful. So I'm sure everyone is trying to, is on that pursuit of happiness or pursuit of success, right? So this story, you usually would have three different characters. You'd have a leader, an object, and an adversary. So three different ones. Now the conflict could be that the adversary is jealous or immoral. They will always try to make the character fail so they can succeed instead, since they want the same object, or maybe they're successful and they're afraid that the main character will take their success away. So, of course, it could be other things too, but those two are like the more common things. So whatever the object is, it's far away, it's out of reach. The character's success depends on getting that object. They are emotionally invested or emotionally investing in getting this object. So they'll try whatever they can do to get to it, even if it's far away, like trying to get the moon. Now here's the problem with trying to get what you want or this pursuit of success. You have a plan, and I saw this actually on Facebook. I can't remember who posted this, but somebody posted this. So either way, so you have this plan that you're trying to get, and you just assume that it's going to be easy, smooth, and nice, and you can get it. But the reality is, when you're trying to pursue success, it's not like that. It's going to be like a lot of problems, a lot of obstacles, danger, disaster. It's just terrible. So it's not going to ever be this smooth transition. That will never happen. Success is never like that. So, but here's the problem with it also too. Like you could be trying and then you're like, okay, I feel like I have motivation in the beginning. And then this person is like, you know what, I'm done. I just give up. But they actually were almost there. And, the diamonds they were trying to get was almost there. They could have reached for it. They could have hit it one more time. Boom, they would have got all the diamonds. They would have become rich. They would have been successful. But unfortunately, they gave up. So that's why they didn't get it. Where this person, he's still going. So it just depends because you see how far this person went and he didn't give up, or he gave up when he was close. And then this person, he's still in the beginning. So it's just a matter of, okay, who gave up, who didn't give up. So probably this person will end up getting it because they didn't give up. Where this person, since they gave up, they won't get nothing. Okay, so, but why is it that some people will keep going, the other ones don't? Well, at the end of the day, working hard for something we don't care about is called stress. Working hard for something we love is called passion. So if you don't have passion for whatever it is that you're pursuing, you're more likely to say, you know what, forget about it. I'm just going to walk away from this. Where if it's something that you actually believe in, something that you really want to do, something that you feel like it's important, then you're going to continue with it. If you don't think it's important, you're just not going to continue. It's not worth it. So the only reason why you're gonna work hard for something that you don't feel like it's important is if it's something easy to get. If it's not something easy, you're more than likely to walk away from it. So that's the thing. So when you're writing, you have to remember that your character has to have passion for the story. So because with these type of stories, what happens is the journey of success is a long story. It's long. Yes, you can make it into a short story, but you have to do it a little bit differently. So, or maybe the pursuit is, small things or steps of it. But at the end of the day, your character has to have passion for the goal that they are trying to achieve. They have to really, really want it. If they don't want it, they're just going to walk away. So, for example, let's say a Somali boy wants to compete in the World Cup. He doesn't know how to play soccer. He fails the tournament. He's kicked off the team. He's devastated. The team lets him return, but his father orders him to quit. He decides he won't give up, and he does the scoring goal for the championship. And one day, someday, he does go to the World Cup and his team does win. So, journey of success. Now, when you think about it, all those things, how long is everything going to take, right? So, okay, he wants to compete in the World Cup, but he doesn't know how to play. So if he doesn't know how to play, he has to learn how to play. And then if he's kicked off the team, how long is it before he gets back on the team? And then for him to just give up and not be there, how long is it before he gets back on his feet to come back? How long before his team lets him return? Why do they let him return? Why is his father angry and telling him to quit? How long is that? How long does it take him to say, I'm not going to give up and I'm going to come back? So it can't be 6 minutes, right? So no way, that's not a short story. 60 minutes even? I don't think so. 120 minutes? No. More than likely it's going to be something else. It's going to be 6 months, 12 months, 24 months, 36 months. It's going to probably be sequels even. This is going to be a really long story. This is not going to be a short story at all. There's no way. And that's the thing. That's what you have to think about time when you're writing these stories, and which story is more likely to be a short story and which one is more likely to be a long story or a novel. So you have to think about that. So the journey of success is usually going to end up becoming a book. It's going to be a long screenplay, a movie. It's going to be a long story, and possibly sequels, because it is not something that you could just boom, 6 minutes, everything's resolved. 60 minutes, no way. Even 120 minutes, I don't think so. So it's not like you can just go get success by walking outside and getting something. Now, of course, if you win the lottery, that's totally different. But usually success is not that easy. It takes time. So what could you do when you want to write this kind of story? What you could do is go ahead and write your first draft, and by telling. So, and as Terry Pratchett says, if you don't know, that's a science fiction fantasy writer. The first draft is you telling yourself the story. So that first draft is telling. Now, of course, when you go to class, teachers will always tell you you have to show, you can't tell. So, but at the end of the day, it's better for your first draft when you're writing to be something that you're telling, not something that you're showing. You can go back and fill in all your details and everything later, but at the beginning, it's good just to tell the whole story and keep it short and sweet. That way you at least know where the story is going. So your first draft should be that one. Your second draft should go ahead and could be the little bit longer one. And your third draft, hey, make it your longest one. So at least that's the conclusion I've come to lately. That is how I think that you should just, keep it short for your first draft, not long. So now if you are gonna, when you're writing this, you have to remember too to break down your goals. Because if I'm saying, okay, this boy wants to learn how to play soccer, how long is that going to take for him to play soccer? Is that going to be the whole book? Is it going to be half of the book? How long is that going to take? So you really have to take in consideration time. So if the person's goal is graduation, graduation is probably going to take 4 years to get a degree, right? Maybe 4 years if you're lucky. It could be more, right? Depends on what you're pursuing. So maybe you want to say, hey, my first book or my first story is about finishing the first exams, getting through the first semester, the first year. Don't say, hey, this person went to college and then they finished everything in an hour. That doesn't really make any sense. Now, granted, you could, if you really wanted to, write a story like that. Don't get me wrong. It's not like we don't see them every day. But just I'm saying, be careful of the time. And then you also have to just pick the parts of the story that are the most important. So you can't show everything of the 4 years. You're going to have to pick like different parts of those 4 years that are the most important, the most significant parts of the story. So that way you can put everything in that 4 years that had happened within one book. So just be careful about the scenes that you're picking. Now, if you're not going to do that, if you're going to make everything longer, then yeah, you're going to break down each goal as one book and that's it. So, but just be careful about that. So, because even if you are going to condense everything into one book, for example, I don't know, I guess if you're a guy, you may not know, but that story, Legally Blonde, where the girl goes to law school and she does finish everything. In the movie's only, 120 minutes. So she finishes everything in 120 minutes. She graduates and everything. But the goal of the story was not necessarily her graduating school. The goal of the story was her showing her ex-boyfriend that she was capable of finishing law school, and that she, was trying to get him back, and then at the end decided she didn't want to get him back and she got somebody else instead. So the goal was not necessarily graduation, although at the end graduation happened, but the goal was more of a, love story. So just, or the her showing that she was, whatever, successful enough to be a good whatever wife to this guy. So it was just yes, they graduated, but that wasn't the goal of the story. So just be careful when it comes to the goals, and you have to think about realistically how long is this going to take, and if it's going to take a long time, then I'm going to have to break down the story. Like Lord of the Rings, it's very long. It's like 3 books, and because they go to war and they have to travel all over the place. So it's 3 books. So just be careful when it comes to goals. Think about how long actually it's going to take, and maybe it's better to just break down the goals one at a time. Okay? So when you're going to do this story type, I don't really recommend you trying to do this as showing at all, because if you try doing showing, then it's going to just be way, way too long, or it's not going to make any sense. So what you should do is just write an outline for your 6 steps that happen in 6 weeks, 6 months, 12 months, 24 months, 48 months. So write a 6-paragraph essay for each step. So hopefully you have written essays in school, hopefully. If you're not really sure what an essay is, I'm sure you can Google it. But yeah, what you want to just write in is an essay format. So you're going to tell what happened, more like a news article about what happened to this person. You're going to tell it. You're not going to show and say, you're going to just tell what happened, the story, like how you would tell one of your friends, hey, this is the story. So write 1 paragraph for each part of your story. And you never know, maybe this is going to be a short story that you turn into a book one day. Maybe not, but either way, at least you can say, hey, guess what? I did my first draft. I did one. So if you decide you don't want to use it later, that's fine, because still, you have to have passion for, of course, a book. Otherwise, you won't finish it. So just think about what at least you could say, hey, guess what? I did a first draft for a book. So, all right. So write a short story every week. It's not possible to write 52 bad short stories in a row, remember? Okay,